Yeah, yeah. Never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, check my repertoire, don't check me not. Let's just checks involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God, next to God, next to God. Never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, don't check me not. Let's just checks involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God, next to God, next to God. Never fold, never ever fold, never ever stone a rolling stone till I'm in Rolling Stone. Bet I'm close to goal, need a place, need a safer bank. I've been saving change, I need some space. Chatting in my face, get from around my way. Ay, what you saying, where you at now? I swear that once I leave my city, never coming back down. Wait, from pushing tapes to glowing up around the map now. Real hot summer, keep my cool, I never act out. Ay, yes indeed, recognize what you want, may not be what you need. Won't take control of me, but I got mouths to feed. Hustle smart, not hard to still get it by any means. Please, never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, don't check me not. Let's just checks involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God, next to God, next to God. Never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, don't check me not. Let's just checks involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God, next to God, next to God. Had to get it by myself. Bad decisions had me living down in hell. Paranoia, so I keep it by my belt. Losing sleep, I know the sleep won't be no help. Now it's no contest, S on my chest. Whole squad gon' flex, yeah you know that's set. They had mentioned competition, I'm here like what's that? Heard your last 2 tracks, you're not eating all that. Pockets swole on me, since 15 haters been trying to roll on me. Move smarter, no drama, you know homie. Whole team round me, ready on go, homie. Yeah, you know, homie. Ay, never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, don't check me not. Let's just checks involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God, next to God, next to God. Never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, don't check me not. Let's just checks involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God, next to God, next to God. Showtime in the mirror, lights that make you look good, coated with that pastel, wanna disappear, so we riding with the planes. I love you ain't lying. Showtime in the mirror, G4 for that wall art, drop it with your eyelids, try again violet, maybe it's a new stain, fly away pilot, only way to break.
What's going on, everybody? Enterprise, how you doing? How's your day going? I think we're just about ready here. Maybe? Yep. So that goes there. That goes right there. Beautiful. Still amazes me every time it works. What is happening? How's your Monday going? How's your week going? Doing good. I'm fantastic. I'm having a great week so far. I had a great weekend. Monday is, It's a Monday. Mondays are Mondays, but I'm doing all right. We'll spend a little time on the farm here, and that always, I don't know, man, has a way of soothing my mood. I'm really seeing a hotspot, though, right there. Looking right that direction right there. We're at 35 FPS, and we turn around and we go up to 60. We do have settings maxed out. Don't like Mondays? Tell me why. Looking this way. Now, in fairness, we are looking all the way across the map, right? Like literally everything that's rendering. And we do have our settings maxed out. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. We're still staying north of 30. And that is the main thing. Right. So field 9-5, we did get this cut. Start of school? Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. We did get field 9-5 cut. We got a third cut out of it, right? It is fully fertilized, but I realized we don't need to worry about cutting it because I think we're going to get a fourth cut. Did I say third? Second? I don't know. What's growing right now, this will be our fourth cut of this field for the year. So I don't think we're going to get a fifth. And what that means is there's no hurry. We can get the fourth one done anytime we want. Obviously, it's raining right now, so we're not sweating it. But I think what we'll do is skip forward a couple days because I don't want to do any more grass work this year. I really don't. We've got 250,000 liters in the pit down at the VGA. This is not ready yet. It's with seasons, it is golden brown, but it's still green on the harvest map. So we need to wait for this to turn gold on the harvest map, but we can bring this in. So I thought we'd do that. We'll skip forward a couple days. And we won't do any grass work, and we won't take care of the animals. And oh, but you know what? We got to take care of the animals. Son of a... Hang on. They've got TMR, yeah, because we just dropped TMR in there yesterday. They need straw. They don't need water. I think they're picking up water from the rain. Their troughs are filling up, so they do need straw. And we could give them grass, and I have a wheat pallet mod, so we could give them wheat. At the very least, let's get some straw in there. And the store is open. It's 8:30. So if we wanted to, how would we do this? I mean, we could take the trailer down and just buy one pallet. I guess that would be the smart thing to do. You could, I don't know, could you do that in real life? Put a weight on the back. You got your front loader on the front, right? Just go down, put one pallet on the forks on your front loader, strap it down real good and drive. Would you do that? That seems, I don't know, a little bit sus, as the kids say. TWS is the Western Shore V2. That's the map that we're on. Fantastic map by a guy named Bullet Bill. Your back hurts a lot? I mean, is there a specific reason for that? Did you do something? Is it chronic? Is it acute? Is it a mystery? Why does your back hurt, Jaden? And where'd we leave our spike? It's right there. Is it? Wait. Stand by. Where'd we leave our spike? So these are... There's pallet forks. Moment, please. I think we may have lost some equipment. Hang on now. If we go right here, where's our spike? I didn't leave it down at the store, did I? It's the forks. There's our spike. Oh, I left it in the back of the pit. Ernie, what's happening? I left it in the back of the pit. I dumped it back there just to kind of get it out of the way, and I got it so far out of the way I completely forgot where I left it. Set this right over here. Right like so. And I think, yeah, silage. Yeah. Good eye, though. I had to go to the menu to remember where I left it. And we don't even have a lot of kit yet. If we get, oh, carefully. If we fill this map out like we did last time when we had like 60 or 70 items, like a bicycle has just run over you. That's not good, brother. You gotta, I don't know, man. Get you some Reiki. Maybe, get some heat on it. I don't know. Right. So I think Yeah, I think it makes sense to go. We'll go buy. I guess we'll buy 2 or 3 pallets of wheat. They're not very expensive. They're like 100 pounds a piece. So we can get 2 or 3 while we're down there, and that will hopefully, because we don't have any wheat. We don't have any wheat planted, so we won't have wheat this year as far as what we harvest. So yeah, maybe we just get a bunch of it. It's not very expensive at all. Okay, that's a thought. And that way we're not driving the trailer all the way down there for 1 pallet. All right. The only one that I have at the moment is Train Simulator World, Train Simulator World 2, or Train Sim World 2. But I think I've tried all of them on Steam and just run out my 2 hours and then did a refund. I tried Zeusy, and I think Zeusy is probably like something that I notice about Train Sim World, the Train Simulator franchise, is there are a lot of things sort of in the cab, right? A lot of functions. And when you think back to CSX Heavy Haul, when it first dropped, I was really excited because they had the cold start procedure where you had to like go walk along the length of the train and go into the engine compartment and prime the motor. And I really do like that in Flight Sim. I like a cold dark start, 15 or 20 minutes to get the aircraft powered up. I really like going through all those steps. And I thought Train Sim was moving in that direction. And it sort of did, but not to the extent that Flight Sims do. But Zeusy does do that. Zeusy is like 100% legit. I'm told that it's actually a commercial training tool for train drivers and train operators. So it's not really ever meant to be a sim. It is actually a training tool. So very, very realistic in that way. And just absolutely tons and tons of features. But it's sort of dry. It's almost more sim than game. Well, it's definitely more sim than game, but it's so much of a sim that it's maybe not quite fun. So I did refund Zeusy. Also, it's all German, and I don't really sprechen Sie. You know what I'm saying? I sprechen a little, but not a lot, not that much. And there's some documentation, but I was using Google Translate. There's nothing wrong with Zeusy. Although I hope I'm not giving the impression that there's anything wrong with it. It's an awesome sim. It's just over the top and was a bit more than I could sort of wrap my brain around. And there's supposed to be, I think it's called Sim Train Pro or something, that's supposed to drop Q3 of 2021. That looks very promising, but we'll see. Jenner, what's happening? How you doing? And then the other is the Train Simulator franchise, which I think is a lot more of what I'm looking for in terms of like safety systems and functionality, the variety of routes, the variety of equipment, locos, train sets. The only thing is I can't, because I sort of jumped into Train Sim in TSW2, I can't really get past the graphics of, wait a minute, other trailer. I can't really get past the graphics of Train Simulator, and that's a pretty old franchise. I want to say that came in from Rails, maybe. Yeah, it predates its release date on Steam as Train Simulator. I want to say it was something else before that, and Dovetail bought it. I think we can unload these right here. So we need to unstrap them, right? Then we need to load them. Then we need to unload them, and we want to move this thing. How do we do this? Not like that. Is it? This way. We can just drop these right here. Not super immersive or realistic, but you know what? I'm not sweating it anymore. There we go. We'll drop these right there. Beautiful. Now we got to get out of here. So yeah, I think in terms of functionality, I would say that, now what do we do? Can we get out the other way? If I had to compare the two, I would say the Train Simulator franchise is more like X-Plane in that it has the functionality, and Train Sim World 2 is more like Flight Sim 20, Microsoft Flight Sim 20, in that it's not quite as in-depth or as realistic, but it looks a lot better. Really? What are we caught on? But I think I've tried all of them. I've tried Lotus. I really hope Lotus... Carefully. I really hope Lotus goes somewhere. Lotus is made by the same team that is making Omnibus. I have tried it, Enterprise. I have it. It's not installed at the moment, but I do own it. And I think it's got a tremendous amount of potential. It just needs a little bit more... It's not quite done yet. It needs a little bit more development. But I think at the moment for VFR, I think it's amazing. It's incredibly immersive. And the base aircraft that are included with it they have enough depth to them that for VFR, it's great. I prefer flying IFR and airliners. So I'm in X-Plane exclusively right now. But Microsoft Flight Sim is amazing. And I think the reason that it was released sort of 75% done is because it is such an amazing accomplishment. They really, absolutely kind of swing it for the fences. And, when you try to do something big like that, when you try to do something progressive like that, the risk of failure, the risk of disappointment is very great. So I think they have very ambitious agenda with that app, with that sim. And so it's understandable that they would have some hiccups between now and then. It's really good. It really is. And it actually runs fast. I've got a 1660 Ti and it runs fast on my card. When I loaded the game up, it did its own assessment of my system and recommended, I want to say very high, not ultra, but very high. And I went with their base settings, moved a couple sliders around a little bit, and I was typically able to get 30 plus FPS at big airports like LAX and Heathrow, and then 60 once I got in the air. So I know people have had complaints about the performance. After the first patch that dropped just a couple days after release, some of those things got sorted out and I never really had any problems. I did have some game crashes and I was really disappointed that the airliners were, they've got 150 buttons and controls on the flight deck, and easily 3/4 of them, when you mouse over them, it just says INOP, inoperative. And that stuff is supposed to be added later. I believe the INOP is a placeholder for when they bring in that functionality at a later date. I think they had to leave it out because they just ran out of time. But it was really disappointing. I like commercial aircraft and airliners that are just absolutely authentic to the original. Study grade, they call it. All right on, Jenner. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon. And what else is going on? Nothing. There's no sim activity. Whoa, carefully. There's no sim activity right now as far as new titles. I think the next thing in our world is going to be Wyoming. No, Iberia for ETS2. And hopefully that happens in the next few weeks, couple months. We'll see. I also noticed we've got $4,000. We've got some room on the loan. I think we've got about 30 grand on the loan, and we'll need to use that to lease our combine harvester. Hopefully we can sell enough soybeans to make that money back fairly quickly. But we are going to, we can afford the wheat. I'm wondering if we shouldn't get at least one pallet of grass while we're down here. I thought the cows ate grass from the pasture. I've got that mod activated, but it seems like they're not. So maybe we buy one pallet of grass. All right. Let's figure this out. At least... Yeah. What? Did we clip the gate? I think we did. I'm driving like a lunatic today. What's going on? All right. Pallets. Where are we at? Right here. So we want... And they eat beets now too, right? So wheat. Let's get 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. All right, Enterprise. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Yeah, agreed, Ernie. I think it's going to... Let's see what we got here. We can feed them sugar beets or grass. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's do sugar beets instead of, because this is 700 for 1,000. Farm boy, what's happening? I haven't seen you in a minute. We could do 2 of these. We could do 3 of these. for the price of one 2,000 kilogram, 2,000 liter bag of grass. Hang on, let's see how much this is. Yeah, 2,200. We just paid 2,100 for 3,000 liters of sugar beet. It would have been same price for 2,000 liters. Okay, I call that a bargain. All right, so if we hop in here now, and we had round bales on, we got to put pallets on. That is right here. Pallets. Pick those up. We'll haul these back to the farm, and I think we'll drop one of both in. Animals will be topped off. Water is good that we can speed through the rest of this day, and tomorrow that'll take us to third day of autumn, and I think soybeans will be up by then and we can bring those in. Okay, so let's unload these so we have the real weight on there. Straps get packed up. We'll make our way back to the farm. I spent the whole weekend, I have to admit, I must confess, I spent the whole weekend in X-Plane in my MD-88 flying on VATSIM, and I have to say, ultimately, I had a really good time. I really, really enjoyed it, but I realized, because my last session last night ended, most of these kick off at 1 p.m. my time, which is just horrible timing because that's when I always start my stream. So I'm going to need to figure that out, but that is, I want to say 6 p.m. UTC. So that's like perfect evening time for people in Europe and the UK, but not for me. So that's their evening. Everybody's home from work and people want to play VATSIM, but it's like mid-afternoon for me, so I'll need to coordinate those two. I did a couple of those, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. I flew Helsinki to, where did I go? Helsinki to somewhere, I forget already. I flew Stockholm to Moscow, and then yesterday evening I flew Denver to Seattle, which are a couple of the busier airspaces in the US. They were fully staffed. There were tons of people there. I waited, after I got permission to taxi, I waited about 40 minutes to take off. There were probably 30 or 40 aircraft stacked up. But that's the whole process, from like clearance, delivery, cold start, loading fuel, loading passengers, flight plan, everything. In fact, I filed a flight plan when I requested clearance delivery. Clearance told me they were going to give me a new flight plan, and they did. And it was all different. I had to completely reprogram the FMC. Took off, made it through all the airspace between Denver and Seattle, no problem. And got handed off from Seattle, is it Seattle arrival to Seattle approach? Yeah. And they flew me all the way down to the ILS. The guy was a little bit snappy because I was on a kind of a vector heading, I believe they call it. So I was heading sort of away from, I was parallel to the runway heading, going in the opposite direction. And you just fly that indefinitely, and then they tell you when to make your turn, essentially a 180-degree turn to the runway heading. They do that at the appropriate time so they can sort of slot you into a gap in the incoming planes, the incoming traffic. So he told me to make my turn, and I was making my turn, but like as I was making it, he just started snapping at me like, I need you to make that turn right now. And I'm like, I'm literally making the turn right now. So he was a little snappy. He was a little larpy. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with this, Ernie. That's kind of where I'm headed with it. So he told me to turn, and he told me to establish on the localizer. And some of this terminology is like, I'm mostly familiar with it, but not 100%. And this is all happening on an open frequency with a lot of people that sound like they're real pilots. And this is my 4th VATSIM flight. So I got a little bit flustered, I have to say. So he told me, descend and maintain 5,000 till you're established on the localizer. But then he didn't really tell me anything after that. So I didn't know if, because established on the localizer, like when the software in my aircraft grabs that beam, it lines me up with the runway, and it begins descending me on a very specific flight path. If you descend too quickly, you go too fast and end up too low. If you don't descend quickly enough, you end up too high. And then if you try to descend to get back on the glide slope, you'll be going too fast. So it's a very, very narrow envelope that you have to be in. So he didn't tell me to do anything, and he'd snapped at me. So I was kind of Like, I wasn't being passive aggressive. I was truly just waiting for further instructions because I didn't want to piss him off anymore. And I realized I was way too high and going way too fast. There was no way I would be able to land. And I didn't want to declare a missed approach and go around. So I just logged off the service. I disconnected. And that means to everybody else who was flying, I just disappeared. So not a big deal. And I wasn't like upset or anything. I had 3 good experiences and 1 not so good. We're going to make this turn. Oh, not quite. But I did some research last night, and apparently the way that I've done it is not the way to do it. I've got 10 hours total in the service, and all 10 of those hours should have been flying VFR and a Cessna. I really should not be flying IFR. It was nighttime as well. It was nighttime, and there was weather. So I really should not have been flying VFR. Hang on, let me get these unstrapped. Not VFR, IFR. I really should not have been flying IFR in a commercial airliner with the amount of experience that I have, but everything went so well, right? That's the thing that's kind of weirding me out, because it's like everything was fine. Everything was fine. And I'm not blaming this guy by any means, but had he just been a little bit more, I don't know. I mean, I've got a tag in my login that says new to the service. Had he been like 5% more sort of patient and supportive, you know, I think everything would have been fine. So I guess what I'm getting at is I am doing it, but I think maybe I'm doing too much too soon. And the fact that it's working as well as it is confusing to people that are in the service. Because even the aircraft that I'm flying, everybody flies the 737. The MD-80 is an older aircraft that's a little bit more sort of fussy, you know? So it's not typical. So I think by flying that aircraft and doing the things that I'm doing, and my comms are solid, and, you know, that comes from Tarkov, I think. I know how to do the military radio voice. I think all that may be sort of misleading unintentionally to the people that I'm interacting with, and so they think that I'm more experienced than I am. And that's making them speak a little faster, you know, at a little lower, as they do with people that are very experienced. And I'm not. So I get a little bit lost sometimes, I have to say. But when I was doing my research last night, one of the biggest complaints about VATSIM is people that take it way too seriously. It's a game, you're supposed to have fun. But these LARPers, and it is, I mean, there is a very fine line between multiplayer anything and LARPing. And LARPing is, I mean, I know it's a real thing. I know people go out in the woods and play with swords and stuff. And that's where the term came from. But I think LARPing in 2021 means some sweaty tryhard that doesn't seem to realize it's just a game and we're supposed to be having fun. And I did read a lot of things about, you know, people that you can spawn in anywhere you want, right? So you spawn inside your game independent of VATSIM. So you're supposed to spawn at a gate, but people forget and they just spawn in on a runway. So there's 30 planes stacked up and some frazzled air traffic controller trying to keep it together, and all of a sudden a plane appears in the middle of their runway. So I know people do plenty of stuff like that really makes it difficult for the controllers. Oh, look at this. Oh, our pallets are running away from my pallet forks here. Come here. Come here. So I totally get that it goes both ways. I do. But it is, the flight sim community is a lot like the train sim community. They tend to take themselves very, very seriously. And I was thinking, as I was on the service the past couple of days, I was thinking, man, all these people sound like real air traffic controllers and pilots. And I know there are plenty of pilots. I mean, I follow pilots on YouTube who also use desktop simulators and use VATSIM. So I know there are real pilots that use the service. But I think there are a lot of people that are kind of role-playing, you know, that they're LARPing. And the comment that I saw over and over last night was, in real life, air traffic controllers never get flustered. That is like That's a point of pride for them, that no matter what is happening, they never get flustered, they never get angry, they never snap at people. As a goal, I think realistically, of course they do. Everybody does. Nobody's perfect. But in the same way that, you know, it's kind of cool not to do an end zone dance, right? Act like you've been there. Act like you've been there. When you can sort of keep your cool when everybody around you is freaking out, that's, I don't know. I think that is in its own way more of a big dick power play than losing your temper, because it's like, yeah, check me out. I'm LARPing, but I'm just LARPing every aspect of the realism, including being super cool at all times. So it is, ultimately, I think I am going to stick with the service. And, you know, I take these things, I wouldn't say too personally, but maybe I take them too seriously as well. Because what I realized yesterday is, so what? You know, I will absolutely continue to do my very best in the service. I'm not going to take it for granted or troll or, you know, be an a-hole. But ultimately, if it doesn't work out, I can just disconnect. And if there are enough, I don't think there have been any complaints against me, but if there were, so what? Ban me. Ban me. I've got a library of sibs and plenty of other things that I can do that I enjoy just as much. So it's nothing that I need to worry about. And I think by not worrying about it, maybe that, you know what, let me pull this forward. Let me pull this forward and see if that helps. Maybe by not worrying about it, it sort of avoids the self-fulfilling prophecy. You know what I mean? Still take it seriously, just don't take it too seriously. And by taking it less seriously, there's less possibility of you getting nervous or flustered. So we'll see how it all works out. Whoa, easy. Ultimately, I do like it, though. And I'm giving Pilot to ATC another try, because I think that has a lot of potential. I don't know why this trailer is not... It's typically got a little foot up front that it sits on, but it doesn't seem to have a foot right now. I'm going to give Pilot to ATC another try. I think the biggest problem that I have with Pilot to ATC is everybody uses the same voice, because the speech-to-voice that it uses, or text-to-speech, rather, that it uses is just Microsoft Base, and there's only one voice. And that can make it a little confusing when there's supposed to be several different air traffic controllers that you're talking to, and they all sound the same. I'm going to grab this one in the middle, just because it's closer to the entrance, closer to where we came in here, if that makes sense, so we're not fussing. Get in there. And I did find you can buy voice packs. Carefully. Is this super heavy? It seems to be. Or is it just scraping? They really are, Ernie. And I know for pilots, it's a point of professional courtesy that they never lose it. Commercial pilots, they never lose it. And that's, you know, like when the pilot comes on, ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, just got a light came on here. It says all of our engines are on fire. We're going to go ahead and descend to 10,000 feet. You will see those oxygen masks drop down. Go ahead and put that on. And right, it's just completely cool. They never lose it. I expect the same thing. Like you know what I'm saying. If you're going to LARP, right? LARP to the full extent. But to sort of split the difference and take the game so seriously, take the sim so seriously, but skip that part where you never lose it. I don't know. It's like the train sim, guys. And it is always guys. I try to be gender neutral, but I've never heard a train sim woman, a train sim, there we go. Train sim girl. I've never heard them get as fired up and, I don't know, just angry as guys do. So I don't know. I mean, people build their little world. That flight yesterday into Seattle, I think the thing that was the weirdest for me was, and I'm just going to stuff this trailer back in here with the pallets still on, and I'll move them off camera. when I was kind of wrapping things up afterwards, I was thinking, you know, if you're watching a movie, a 2-hour movie, and an hour and 50 minutes into that movie, the movie just stops, right? It's like saying, well, I mean, what's the big deal? You did get an hour and 50 minutes out of it. You got plenty of entertainment. What's the big deal? Fried, what's happening? Right? So you didn't get the last 5% of the movie. You got the first 95%. Right? It's fine. But it's like, no, it's not fine, man. I needed the ending. Yeah, I know. I missed you, brother. I try to always go at the same time every day, so I know your schedule kind of shifts around. You know what? I'm gonna drop this separately and then pull this back here. So it was the same sort of feeling, you know, to put, I think it was almost 2.5 hours into that flight and then have it come apart seriously with like a minute to go. It was really disappointing. But I'm trying to remind myself that, you know, there was quite a bit that came before, and I did learn a lot. I'm learning a lot every flight. I think you get your first promotion at like 100 hours. So I'm not even close to that yet. So it could be that my expectations are too high of myself, or, you know, could be this, could be that. I don't know. Yeah, it really is. It left me with a very unsettled feeling. I have to say, what? I watched some terrible, one of these like Netflix holiday movies with my girl, and toward the end of the movie, there was a missing mom. I can't even remember. It was that bad. It was just a Netflix movie, but there was like a missing mom, and as they were getting toward the end of the movie, they started playing the end of the movie music, like as they were tying everything off, and one plot thread completely resolved itself, but they weren't like, where's the mom? And we were looking at each other like, did they forget about the mom? Surely. I mean, it's a terrible movie, but come on now. You can't leave one of the major plots of a movie completely unresolved and just go to the credits. And that flight yesterday sort of felt like that. It just ended, you know? But I've got pilot to ATC. I mean, I don't know any other venue where you can practice this stuff. And I think what I was getting, they may have been trolling, but I think what I was getting from the forums that I was reading last night were people actually suggesting, well, you know what? If you become a commercial airline pilot, this stuff will be like second nature to you. It's like, wait a minute. Are you out of your mind? Are you suggesting that I become a real pilot so I can play a game better? I mean, that seems a bit mental. Just a little bit. All right. Oh, God, the manure. Okay, animals are back inside now. So we gotta get this manure out of here. All right. You know what? Do we? Yeah, we do. There's already 3,000 liters. Let's clean this out, because if we don't, there'll be 6,000 by tomorrow. All right. I promise we're gonna get a harvest done in this game. Go here. Break is off. Where's my bucket? So drop this weight. Bucket is over next to the silage. Yeah, exactly. I want to be better at space sims. I don't know. I mean, I don't think what I did. They don't send warnings. You just get bans of increasing amounts for doing things. And I think it's all code of conduct stuff. So there is an expectation that you know and are able to operate your aircraft. And like I said earlier, I think that may be throwing things off a little bit, because it sounds like I do, but you come across weird procedures that you just haven't experienced yet, right? So it's, you know, I'm fine until this happens or that happens. The code of conduct says you have to know how to operate your aircraft. You have to understand it. Okay. So that could be a ban, but most of the bans are for just being a jerk. And I don't think I'm in any danger of that happening. So if there are problems or if there's a complaint or anything, I'll just deal with that as it comes. But I really do think, despite the fact that some people were a little bit snappy, I'm progressing the way I'm supposed to. If anything, I'm progressing faster than I'm supposed to. But if I get a ban, or if I get kicked off the service, or if I have to disconnect because things are starting to go sideways and I don't want to be a distraction to other pilots, it's really not a big deal. It was disappointing to end that flight before the actual end of the flight, but I think I'm tracking ahead of the learning curve. I hope I am. And I'm definitely having fun. Everything's more fun in MP. I don't know why. I think it's because you sort of have an audience. All right, let's put down here. Are we? Yeah, we're still picking up. The poop spawn is underneath this kind of, I don't know, we got a lot of depth on this straw, so I can't always see the poop I'm picking up. Got it. All right. And I think what I'm going to do, so we got, there's 3,000 in here. I think what I'm going to do is leave the tractor right outside the gate here. I'll close the gate so the cows don't get out. I know. And we'll just leave the tractor here. First thing tomorrow morning, we will muck out one more time, see if the animals need fed. If they do, we'll get them fed, and then we will hop on the harvester. Or you know what? We won't even do that. If they need fed, we'll start the harvest, and I will feed them off camera. Because I think we fed them last live stream, so we just did that recently. Okay. I'm trying to move things forward kind of in a timely manner. All right, through here. Are we picking anything up? I feel like we didn't get anything that trip. There we go. Maybe? All right. We'll just leave this parked right here, I think. It's out of the way. I mean, it's our farm. We can park it anywhere we want. And there's nobody else here, so I don't need to worry about being in somebody's way, but it's just a habit, All right, so right down about here. Drop that. Did the stream just drop? Stream is back. Come on now. All right. I hate when it does that, and I don't know why it does that. All right, so there's 9:60 on the time. I feel like SkySwap just gives up, or the base cloud moving software. I feel like it just gives up when you speed the time up fast enough. Oh no, hang on. Let me do something else before we get to tomorrow. I just realized how broke we are. So we got to go here. Let's borrow $5,000. We need $5,000 just to make it till tomorrow. So broke. Always so broke. Raxo, how you doing? Brother, if you can, English. You're more than welcome to stay. But if you can, English. Any more thought to server idea? Yeah, I'm ready when everybody else is. I'm ready to pull the trigger. Just grab me on Discord. Let's pick a map and what mods we want to run, and we'll get it going. I've got no problem with that. All right, there's 8 p.m. Let's get some sleep. Oh, fingers crossed. Here we go. Yeah, that took a minute to load, so I'm hoping. Right here. Come on. Fingers crossed. All right. I mean, I really thought we would get some harvesting done. Raxon, fantastic. How's your day going? So we got to feed the animals. We got to muck out again. Yeah, all right. I mean, that's that farm sim life. So let us... Yeah, we're on 5x time. It's going to rain anyway, so we might not have been able to harvest today. Let's muck out one more time. Yeah, let's do it, Fried. I mean, I think it would make sense to only use mods that are available on the mod hub. That way we're not worried about private mods or GitHub mods or obscure mods or anything else. And as far as a map, I didn't leave this thing running, did I? There you go. That's 2. Count me as 3. So now what do? We need to get the toolbox. Man, the wheels are coming off this episode. So we go, what is it? Is it a placeable? Tap, tap, tap. Where is it? Seriously? The last thing? Are you kidding me? All right. There we go. But we're not empty. Fuel tank's not empty. If we had left the truck running when we sped time up, the tank would be empty. I think it just needs its maintenance. All right. I just want to harvest soybeans. So we're going to have to skip another 2 days. But we'll need to keep the cows fed and mucked out between now and then. And we may have to empty the milk tank. I mean, we don't have to, but we sort of need the money because we are burning money every day. All right. Configure or directly sell vehicle? No. Come on now. Come on now. Where can we put this thing that will only... We need to only be in the trigger for the tractor. Here? There we go. All right. That was easy. So then we'll sell this thing. Get our 1,500 back. All right. Get 750 back. Oh. All right. So in here, we still have fuel. Fire up. Brake is off. Gate is open. Did I just open that? I think I did. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Ernie. I just said only mods from the mod hub, but Simply Safe, I think they're as solid as the mod hub, and it's the only place you can get this map. Is that right? Like the only, I don't know, not official download site. You know what I mean? Bullet Bill wants his stuff up there. I'm kind of worried about Simply Safe. 2020, I guess, was not a great year, and they are paying for bandwidth because they don't have... When you download from them, you don't have to go to, like, one of those dodgy sites with the 1 million pop-ups, right? All the buttons keep popping up that say download. When you click it, it's like, virus.exe wants to download. No, man. I don't want a virus. I just want a mod. So I think it's cool that Simply Safe avoids all that, but it does mean they have bandwidth costs. So I hope they can keep doing what they do. I know they've got some ads. I can respect that. Hang on. Question. Moment, please. Was that van always there? That wasn't always there, was it? All right. I mean, I like it. I like that. But I was wondering, because on Western Shore V1, there was like a car broken down by the side of the road, right? And I was wondering, because to see the same car broken down by the side of the road, I mean, I wouldn't say it's immersion breaking. And a lot of these things, you know, until we see another way to do it, the way that it's always been, it's like, yeah, it's a nice little detail. And if you overanalyze it, like I do, I'm autistic, what can I say? If you think about it that way, it's like, oh, that's not immersive or realistic because it wouldn't be there for month after month. But, you know, come on, it's just pixels. But the idea that you could have things like that move around the map, that is amazing. And I don't want to say it's a no-brainer, because obviously it's not easy to do where everybody would be doing it, but it's like having farm traffic on maps. I've always wondered why devs don't do that, map makers don't do that. There seems to be a reason why, because I'm not the only person who's thought that would be a cool thing to have on a map. But other than Shamrock Valley, I think, Oxygen David, I don't think that's something that's been on a ton of maps. And I don't know why. All right, so what else do these... put this in gear, set the brake. That's amazing, Ernie. That really is. He's an artist, man. That guy is out there. What else do the animals need? They definitely need food. We can give them the rest of this pallet. And in fact, yeah, let's drop the bucket. We'll go grab that other pallet that's already in the shed. Yeah, I hope so. I think that's really going to add to it. Man, I'm really curious what these games are going to look like in 4 or 5 years. Yeah, Shamrock Valley. I remember it. Traffic on Shamrock Valley, the new one for FS17, was different. I wasn't quite clear why the traffic was going so fast. Same as Culberra Park, but Culberra Park, it was at least, I mean, it was fast, but it was, you know, something. On, we need Pallet Forks now. Stingray, I'm a big fan of 17 for more sort of realistic, immersive gameplay. 19 didn't have a strong start, but it's really come around. But it is more of a game than a sim. But I think the render looks really good. Graphics, I think, look a little bit better in their own way. And the vehicles, base game vehicles and dynamic hose being native to the game, I think all that stuff really works well for more of a kind of a casual console game. And if you want more immersive, realistic mods and that sort of thing, I think 17 is the way to go. So we've got this little pallet right back here. Yeah, let's just use this first. And this is 2/3 full. Perfect. Now 1/3 full. Did they? Oh, it took it already. Okay. Then what's the other one it needs? Wheat? Is that what I saw? Yep, wheat down at the bottom. Okay. So we'll go get a wheat pallet. We'll empty that in here, and then we'll go. It's after 8 o'clock, so we'll go. Barely have enough money to do it. We'll go lease the food mixer. Elvix, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the kind words. Thanks for stopping by. And I noticed when we put the straps on that trailer, that's when the foot deployed. When we just had the pallets on there without being strapped down, it didn't get the little foot. Where's this one? Let's do what we did before and pull it forward a little bit. Oh, right on, Fried. I think it's probably going to be this one because it really sort of lends itself to multiplayer. Possibly Stingray. I don't know. I mean, I think they know it does sort of fill a kind of a need that part of their fan base has. And I don't know that it really costs them anything other than a little bit of bandwidth. So they may. I don't know. I don't have any inside information. They may at some point get rid of it, but I think it'll be around hopefully for a while. All right, so this is wheat right here. Yeah, that's wheat. So, so we'll unstrap these. But we'll keep our little foot. I've not tried it yet. Oh, and I can't stop flying. It's problematic. I was kind of binging Hunter Call of the Wild. And there are a lot of animals that I still need to harvest in Hunter Call of the Wild. I haven't even been near that game since I got on VATSIM. I have problems with moderation. You may have noticed that. But I need to put that on the list too. I wish my paddle shifters weren't so loud. And I know what I could do is just not use them, right? Just go automatic on Truck Sim, but I'm so used to shifting. I don't know if I could ever, you know what I mean? Because even in trucks that I know in real life typically have an automatic now, I still go with manual gears. As we'll do that one too. Yeah, I mean this is what my paddle shifters sound like. Elvix, I thought we would be into it maybe 10 or 15 minutes after the stream started, and here we are an hour in, and we're not even close. We got to feed the animals. We still need to go down to the store and get a feed mixer. We need to bring that back. Get as much as we can into the trough, return the food mixer. Then we'll come back, speed through the rest of this day. When we wake up tomorrow, we'll muck out. If we have to, we'll take some water across to them, and we'll see how things look on the, what would it be? On the 5th day of autumn. So the third of autumn. Yeah, my force feedback is really noisy too. I've got a belt drive wheel. I don't have direct drive, and it is... You can definitely hear it. You can hear the fans from it too, because they sort of blow directly onto my microphone. Oh, easy, Massey Ferguson. Let's just everybody be cool. All right. And wow, there's a really generous trigger on this trough. You don't have to get super close at all. All right. That'll do. They're not going to starve. So we can just spear bales with the pallet forks that we have on here. So let's go grab a food mixer and head back here. Oh, it's like, what, 1,200, I think? Hang on. Safety first. There we go. So we don't spear anybody. And we've also got our overnight fees, our loan interest and everything. I was hoping that we could have these soybeans in. I mean, they'll be ready when they're ready, but the fact that we're spending another couple days, we're just bleeding money every day. Every night when we go through midnight, we lose like a few £1,000s. So I think we'll be okay. We've got room on the loan cap, and there's got to be 50,000, 70,000 in that field. So ultimately we will be okay, but it's been... interesting. And we've also got Agro OC it's kind of a driving map. Everything is, I find it to be sort of spread out. You can't go super fast. You've got to really slow down for a lot of the turns, particularly by the farm. I really like that map. It's unique as well. I don't know that I've seen a whole lot of maps that have that same sort of look and feel. I really do think of these maps like 3D art. You know, you could just look at an empty green tile in Giants Editor and think, you know what? I want this to be, you know, and then you just build it. That's what art is. You see something in your head, and then you turn it into something that other people can see also. What difficulty? I believe my economy is set to hard. Hang on, we'll just stop here in traffic, as one does. I don't think we get. Yeah, I think the only choice you get in 17 is when you start, you get to pick how you start, and I want to say in 19 you get to pick how you start, but then you also get to adjust the pricing in game. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, chat. But yeah, I mean, I try to crank things up to be stiff but not onerous. You know, I don't want to suffer. It's just a game. I want to have some fun. But I do like when there's an element of uncertainty, or to realize, like right now, if we don't make money from the soybeans, I don't think we can make enough from milk to cover our loan interest and ever pay that loan down so that our milk profit can go to buying fields or equipment. So if we don't make money from these soybeans, we'll just be sort of running in place. I mean, we could plant that second field with grass. We've got grass in 9.5, so we could plant 100 with grass and then just be grass farmers. We could sell everything, buy a plot of forest and just go out there with a chainsaw and cut logs. So there are some things that we could do to make money. We could do contract jobs too. I keep forgetting about those. We could do contract jobs to get out of this crack. But I like that element of uncertainty that we've really kind of, I keep saying me. I've sort of put myself in a difficult position, and we'll need to think carefully to get out of it. So I like that level of difficulty, but I don't want to suffer, you know? I don't want to feel like I have to grind. All right, so now we'll go here, and then here, right here. £1,200. We do have, how much do we have in the milk tank? 7,000, so I think that's about $5,000. Okay, so we'll sell that milk today, and that will be at least enough to get us through the next couple days, I hope. Carefully. Yeah, I mean, you can alter the XML file even if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, you can. And, well, if you're talking about to make the game easier, if you want to buff it, you can certainly do that. But you can also go in and take the prices down. You can build your own geomod and make the pricing really brutal. I mean, I just like to, I don't know. I think that's the best way to describe it. I just like an element of uncertainty. And that's one of the things that I don't like about logging and grass farming, is it's like you almost make too much money too fast. And I know for some players, the goal is to, you see people, I used to see it on FS UK, but people would post images like, I got every field fertilized at the same time. I bought every field, and I have every field fertilized. And I think, yeah, but are you going to be able to get every field harvested? And with creator tools, we can stop time. So that does make things a little different. But, you know, I mean, ultimately, there's no right or wrong way to play the game because it's a game. The right way to play it is the way that is fun for you to play it. Oh, yeah, that's rough. I mean, the tricky thing about balancing an economy in a video game is there has to be compression. Because otherwise it would take 25 years to pay off your loan, as it does in real life. Or it would take 5 years, 5 seasons to be able to have enough money to afford a new tractor. So there needs to be some compression. And once you get into compression, now the difficult question is, well, how much, right? It's like rubber banding in a racing game. Unless you can find exactly the right difficulty setting so that you're always racing for the top 5 positions or something, unless you can find that perfect setting, you sort of want to have some rubber banding, because if not, you're going to be way off the front or way off the back. And that's no fun. So there's got to be some rubber banding. But once you sort of break the seal on that, then it's like, well, how much rubber banding? Because if you go like 1% too far on that, it just feels completely fake and scripted, and nobody's having any fun. So this is, I think, these are the variables that make a game good versus bad. All right, so I feel like I did this wrong last time, and we ended up kind of, I wouldn't say wasting our time, but we made a couple trips we didn't have to make. So we'll lift this first. Let's do this. Let's leave this right here. All right. Now we gotta drive around. Let's leave it right here in the middle of everything. Oh, we got this. For me, I mean, whether I realize it or not at the time, I think games that you kind of analyze, right? Like really put some thought into the games that work the best for you. For me, the thing they have in common is they all seem to be really, really well balanced. We'll do something here, see if we can save a trip. Take a chance here. Whoa. See if we can do this. Right about in here somewhere. Yep. How's this work? Fingers crossed, as always. Right about there. All right. Perfect. Maybe. Maybe. Ooh, it's close though. I'm really glad we put that weight on. All right, very carefully. The bales we make are 3,000 a piece. The bales we buy are 4,000 a piece. And we do have the axle lock, front axle lock remover mod activated, so this thing will really want to kick over. Yeah, exactly, Ernie. Exactly. And that's, I guess, that sort of goes with what I was saying earlier about flight sim. And I mean, I know there are people that are using services like VATSIM, and they're using X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Simulator to practice for getting a private pilot's license. And I completely respect that, but at the same time, you know, that's sort of not my problem. In the same way that, like, I really wasn't very good at Tarkov. I love the game, but I just wasn't very good at it, and I was losing a ton of gear to better players. And that sucks, but that's not their problem, you know? I would not expect a developer to dumb down a game to accommodate the people that are not, I wouldn't say super serious about it, but just are not playing it at that same level. But that's a game where you're playing a mercenary, right? And Flight Sim it's a game where you fly. So I guess it's just the opposite. right? I don't know that you can expect the developers of a simulation or an add-on for a simulation like VATSIM. I don't know that you can expect them to make their service unavailable to casual players because a small minority of people may be using it to train to get a pilot's license. And as far as blending people together or having designated areas, segregated areas, when I was reading yesterday, I saw some people proposing, hey, let's put these over here where I could forget about them. Dark skyline. Now, when you say skyline, are you talking about a Datsun? That kind of skyline, or like the skyline behind a city? So I don't know if it would be possible to segregate the crowd. I did see some people yesterday in some of the threads that I went to, Reddit, various places. I did see some people say that you just can't get on VATSIM with certain type of aircraft until you qualify. So everybody, once you've passed your basic competency, which I did, you're now qualified to fly single engine propeller, fixed gear, VFR only. And as you work your way up, then you can qualify to use bigger aircraft. And that would solve the problem that I was having yesterday, which is I was in an aircraft that I was 90% comfortable with. But that last 10%, I think, was kind of making a difference. So they could do that, but then you run the risk of scaring people off because now it becomes like work. So I don't know. Some of these problems, I think there are not easy answers to them. Or even FS17 and FS19. That FS19 went in a more casual direction, and some of the 17 players, the more sim type, more realistic type players, were really disappointed. But it's like, well, I don't know. Can you propose an answer? Do you have a better fix that will allow us to stay in business and please the biggest part of our player base, which is what 19 did when it went more to the console side? There we go. So I don't have an answer. I mean, there are certainly plenty of possible answers, but as far as how well any of those would work, unknown. And I think, so we put in two 4,000 liter bales. That's 8,000. This thing holds 12. And then this bucket is 2. So 4 and 4 is 8 plus 2 is 10. And 2 more will be 12. So I think this last one will just about top it off. Yeah, you're right, Ernie. You're right. And it does, as in all things, as in life, it does seem to be a very loud minority that gets all the attention. And I think that can be difficult for a developer, difficult for anybody that finds themselves in that situation where a very small percentage of your player base, your customers, your constituency, whatever you want to call it, a very small percentage of people is making a disproportionately large noise. And I think the temptation is, well, the noise is so loud, I had better pay attention to this, rather than saying, oh, I can see here on my spreadsheet that you're really not a very significant group, and so I'm just going to ignore you. Turn around here. We'll drop this down. Oh, you know what? I can just leave this on because we'll need to muck out again straight away after we sleep through the night. So let's leave this on here, and we'll just back this thing in. Oh, we got to drop our weight. You remember what happened down at the store that time? It was episode 1. I remember it like it was yesterday. Forgot we had weight on. Hooked the trailer up. Spectacular flip. All right. Oh, look at that. We're about 95%. And we are, yeah, we're in the red. I think they're going to take just about all this in the trough. Let's get this up out of the way. Be fantastic if they did. Here we go. 10 seconds. All right, here we go. And I guess we'll just take this thing back straight away. And there's no reason to keep it any longer than we need it. And our trough will be, if not completely full, hopefully pretty full. All right, so we'll turn that off. I want to say that's 2 days, because when it's all the way full, that's 3 days. That's about 2/3 full. We'll call that 2 days. Okay. And again, if they do run out of TMR for a minute, they won't starve. I think their productivity will just drop a little bit. Elvix, that is a mod. It is called Mixer Fixer, I think. But it adds a HUD, I want to say, and it does add that timer. Yeah, it's called Mixer Fix or Mixer Fixer. I'm just going to leave the bucket on for the trip down there. Let me raise it up a little bit so I can see. There we go. I feel like my steering got more sensitive. I always wonder about controllers and controller support. I think it's because I have so many plugged in that the axis just, they overlap sometimes. There's just too many of them. Yep, no worries. And what else? What else have I not been doing? I haven't been racing really at all. I feel bad about that because I've got a lot of money invested in iRacing. Both iRacing and Race Room. Race Room is maxed out. I own every piece of content for Race Room, and I don't use all of it nearly enough. I don't use any of it nearly enough. So I need to hop back in there. And iRacing, I mean, in a way, it's sort of similar to VATSIM in that I don't want to ruin anybody else's good time. And I feel like when you get to be racing close in some of those turns, if you make a mistake, even if you're leading, if you brake a little earlier than you're supposed to, and there are pretty specific braking points to some of these tracks, if you brake earlier than you're supposed to, you can kind of ruin somebody's day. You know, the damage model is real, and somebody hitting you from behind, they can damage their aero on the front end and have a really bad rest of the race. And that's kind of on you. You know, I wouldn't say it's your fault, but and they distribute safety rating points. They distribute them equally for any contact between vehicles. And that bothered me so much when I first heard about that policy, because if somebody just runs into you, somebody just hits you doing something dumb, you get points for that. And that seemed really, really unfair. But as I thought about it more and more, it actually is fair. And there's really no way to enforce any other type of policy. There's no way to determine, right? Well, you know, did you get hit from behind? Well, yeah, but did you brake check? Or, you know, any of the other scenarios that seem like there's only one possible person to blame when you first look at it. But there's plenty of blame to go around when you look a little deeper. So their solution is just blame everybody. And I think that's I came to realize that ultimately is the best way to do it, but it's sort of like VATSIM in that it's like you can't be careful enough. But I do see, because I watch a lot of iRacing on YouTube in the evenings, I do see a lot of, even at the very highest levels, I do see a lot of pileups, lap one, turn one. So it's not only the rookies that do that. I see it in A-license races. I see it all over. You can see it in real life. Saw it in Formula One races this year. Multiple first lap crashes. How's that even possible? In seasons in FS19, after 153 days, a season I'm not entirely clear on your question, Stingray. I'll try to help if I can. All right, and do we need anything down here before we go back? Food, water, everything's green. Tank is mucked out. All right, so we'll head back to the farm. Sleep through the night. We'll definitely sell milk tomorrow, and then we'll skip another day. Hopefully the food and the manure and everything will be all right. We'll skip another day, and then we will bring some soybeans in. I hope. Come on now. Oh, and I got to do one more thing. I'm starting to get dry. I'm going to have some water. Wait. Oh, hang on. Let me go third person. All right, here we go. Oh, it's going to rain again. I couldn't figure out why the lights just came on, but I think it's about to get cloudy and foggy and start raining. So again, we may not have been able to, even if the soybeans were up, it rained yesterday and it rained today, we may not have been able to harvest anyway. Now we could, like I said, stop time. We could wait till it's not raining and the crops are, God, hang on. Look at something here. No, I think in 17 you have to adjust your sensitivity before you start your save game. In the menu before you go into your save game, that's the only place to adjust it. It seems really, really sensitive. I haven't picked one yet, Elvix, but we'll probably use one of the smaller ones, either the Sampo Rosenlu or the little case. And we do have Modern Classics, so I think that gives us the TX as well, but it will be like the smallest, most affordable one that we can rent that's not the Bison. Wait, 17, 19, do we even have the Bison? I can't remember. But yeah, the smallest one we can get. I think that makes sense. We've only got one field at the moment. I got to do something about that. Make another note. I got a dry erase board. No, I didn't, Ernie. I forgot all about that. I need to go check those out. I got a dry erase board. I got a little dry erase board next to my desk because when you're in VATSIM, you get these long strings of information from air traffic control, and you have to write it all down immediately. So I've repurposed that, and I'm using it for when I'm streaming and people mention something. I literally write it down. I don't always remember to do it, but I do write it down. Perspective. All right, just trying to pull in here out of the rain. All right. So we'll drop this. All right. Definitely turn that off because we are going to speed up time. 2 new combines released on Simply Safe. Massey 27 and a Droningborg D7200. Oh, right on. Those sound great. And I've been so impressed with everything that he's done outside of maps. Are these the first? Yeah, I think these are the first self-propelled that he's made. Are they not? All right, there's 960. We'll speed through this day. Then we'll speed through tomorrow. Ah, it's supposed to rain tomorrow too. All right, this is going to be tricky. I don't think there's any danger of us losing these soybeans, but I do think there's going to be a pretty narrow window to harvest them. And we do have the option to stop time, but I really don't want to do that unless we have to. All right, so there's 7 p.m. Yeah, lights are on. I think we're good. Let's go here. I'm going to borrow some money. Wow. That's not a small thing. We got 30 grand left on the loan. Right down to the wire, as always. I kind of like it that way. All right. Raining again. We could muck out, but I'm going to skip it. Milk tank is at 8,500. So let's get that. Let's take that down and sell it. That'll give us 7 grand. That'll be a little bit of money. Alter the days to 153. I don't know what you mean by that. You would make your calendar year 153 days long? Carefully. Scrape that little post. Hey, that's what it's there for, right? Interesting. Why do you like your calendar year so long? I typically go with like 6 or 9 day seasons. That seems like, I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just curious why you would want your year to be that long. Patty, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. It's probably one of my favorite things about sim gaming is it gives you the opportunity to do things or be in vehicles that it's really not possible for you to be in anymore. That's one of the reasons I'm flying that MD-80 is... well, I mean, obviously I wouldn't be flying one in real life, but it gives you an opportunity to use a piece of equipment that you don't have access to. Or some of the cars in Race Room. Ride 4 is a little thin compared to Ride 3, but there was TL1000R in Ride 3, which is one of my favorite motorcycles I've ever owned. And, you know, it's long gone, but you can sort of, I don't know, relive it a little bit. I'm fantastic, Patty. I'm having an uneventful and very enjoyable Monday. All right, so we go right over here. Get this full. Take it down and sell it. I believe this will be about 5 grand. And we need it. And hopefully this rain will end. We'll skip through tomorrow. There's going to be 6,000 liters of manure in the barn, but the animals will still, I think, still have food. They may run out of wheat, but we do have those pallets, so I can just drop one in there off camera. So they'll be okay. And we went from 10 to 13 in one summer. So that's about a 30% bump. I mean, it's not about a 30% bump. That's a 30% bump in one season. So I'll take it. I think we bought those cows for 50 grand. So the 3 that we bred, it's about 15,000 worth of cows. Yeah, I mean, it all adds up. And for starting with 20 grand and no equipment, I think we're doing okay. All right, and I'm going to turn the lights on here because it is a little hazy, a little foggy. Carefully. Got it. All right. I didn't have a favorite tractor till I started playing Farm Sim. I didn't know I was into tractors till I started playing Farm Sim. Whoa, easy. I'm not a total authority or anything, but I've definitely taken an interest in them that I didn't have before. And I think the first ones I saw that I really wanted to drive were the New Holland. New Holland makes the Smart Track. Is that right? And then Case makes the Quad Track, I think. But those really big 600 and 700 horsepower, right? Like the T9. I thought that was amazing. And then I found the Zarian. I guess both Zarians, the one with the cab forward and the one with the mid-mounted cab. And the cab forward one with all that glass up front, that was just amazing to me. It looked like if you were building a tractor to do work on like Mars, it would look like that. Just so futuristic and so different than what you think of as the traditional design of a tractor. That was sort of like what got me hooked, but I find that the longer I played, the more I sort of moved away from that and got down to this 100 to 200 horsepower range. Interesting. Okay. I mean, I like the fact that you're basing it on a real number. That's awesome. Does it get grindy though? Does that is there ever a point where you're like, man, there's a lot of days to go? Or do you keep the time on 15x? I'm just curious how that all works out. I mean, it's different. It's definitely different. Very carefully right through here. I feel like he's turned the train spawn down a bit as well. I know on, what was it, the West Coast? On the West Coast, seeing the train was kind of an event. Right? It did not come through very often. But on this map, on V1, it seemed like there were a lot of trains. And I didn't really mind, you know, because again, time needs to be a little bit sort of stylized. There needs to be a little bit of compression. Things can't be completely realistic in game. Are you playing real time? Interesting. So, like, how long does a full season of gameplay take in real time? Yeah, I mean, I guess if you owned an entire map, you would have, like, literally everything to do on that whole map. But that's unbelievable commitment. Well done. Have you heard of VATSIM? They'd love you over there. All right, so we got a couple bucks, and let's do this. I just had an idea. Let's leave this down here because we go here. No, the animals are getting water in the trough. So, I mean, we can do either. It's going to be one trip back to the farm, whether we make it now or make it tomorrow morning. Let's just wait till tomorrow morning in game. So if there is room in the trough, we can just fill up with water and take it back. And then our manure will be at 6,000 in the barn. And we'll just leave it. Turn that off. Gotta remember to turn that off. And here goes time. Oh, and I forgot to look at this too. Right here is our grass ready for fourth cut. Interesting. Okay. All right. So the grass went away at some point. I thought it was going to make it all the way till the end of autumn, early winter, but the grass went away. So we do need to cut as soon as we can. We do need to cut as soon as we can next year to get 3 cuts in or 4. All right. Living and learning. That's how we do. Here we go. Speeding up time. One field takes a day. So one field takes 16 hours of real time. So you can spend a month just fertilizing and cultivating. That's next level, bro. I've never heard of anybody playing on that timescale before. That's amazing. Great demand for wool, but we don't have any sheep. Slow time down again here. That's 7. And that's 8. Okay. Yes, super hardcore. Now, we skipped night. I'm sorry, I completely like blanked out for a second. Why am I standing in front of the dairy in the dark? What happens next? Give me a minute. I'll eventually remember. Oh, there's that sky swap mod. Doing what it does. Beautiful. All right, we got 10 grand in the bank. Do we have... finally, we are ready to harvest. We are ready to harvest. Okay, so we'll take this back. We will take this back. Is it supposed to rain today? It's not. Beautiful. Lights on. Oh, man, look at this lighting. Look at this fog. Fantastic. So we'll drop the tank off. Oh, we don't need to come back down. I was thinking we need to come back down, but we bought that Larrington trailer. So we're good. Now we just need to lease a combine harvester. We'll probably have to borrow a little bit of money. But fields are dry. So as soon as we can get up there, we can start harvesting soybeans. And I think what we'll do... Where are we at on time? 97 minutes. So 20 minutes to 2 hours. That might work out perfectly. If we can fill one trailer in 20 minutes, I'll take that down and sell it. And then I'll bring in the rest of that field off camera, or we'll finish it up next episode, next stream. Yeah, let's do that. Because I thought we were going to start by harvesting, but we spent the entire episode doing everything but harvesting. Well, you know, that's that farm life. I watched The Millennial Farmer. That guy, all he does is fix stuff. I feel like probably 60 to 70% of his videos, he's just fixing stuff that's broken. And oh, careful. And then the rest is farming. But I mean, I guess that makes sense. It is an entertainment product, and people want to see things that are interesting. So watching him just drive a tractor back and forth might not be the most compelling entertainment. Yeah, I bet it is, Ernie. You know, it's like any other small business. The margin is just, it's like non-existent. Gameplay, how you doing? The margin is so tight, you know, and I think the thing that makes it so much harder for farmers is they've got that weather aspect to deal with as well. Whereas a lot of other people, I mean, I know the weather affects everything. As far as things being on time, things being delayed, prices, commodities, futures. But in a more immediate sense, I feel like when you're a farmer, the weather can affect you like this afternoon. And that, I think that's unique to farming. Just one more thing to deal with. So we'll make this turn here. Carefully. There we go. This game really does look good morning and evening. I think that's the time when it looks the best. And I'm going to do something I don't typically do. Pull this right in here. Oh, that's nice. There's some little packages back there. Beautiful. I don't typically do this, but I'm just going to dump this here. It won't be in the way for what we're doing the rest of the episode. I'm just going to dump this back here instead of trying to park it. Try to keep things moving. So we've got our Larrington trailer over here. I don't know how I got that in there. So we'll get this hooked up. Lights off, set brake. We need to borrow, I think, at least 5 grand. Oh, there's our animals. Yep, nobody's starving yet. Fantastic. And then here, harvesters. So we could go with the Sempo Rosenlu. That's 10 grand to rent. 12 grand. 15 grand, yeah. I think we're better off over here. And then we've also got the TX from Modern Classics. I mean, this is the best value. And if we go with, so that's 4.2 meters. And if we go with the TX, 4.3 meters. So it is a better value, and there's no difference in terms of how wide we can, how wide we can go. Okay, let's do it. So we'll lease that. And then we'll lease this. And we are going to teleport. Time is of the essence. Let's hop right in here. How's it looking? Beautiful. I've had good luck with this thing, I have to say. And Modern Classics, I can't remember. Modern Classics was... It was a free mod? Yeah, it was like a free DLC for 17. Carefully. Carefully. I'm not a fan of header trailers. If you're new to the stream, you might not know that. Now you do. I do not like header trailers, and I definitely struggle with them. How are we looking? I don't know if you do this in real life. And if you did, I feel like this is just not okay to do. Even with a small header, I think this is not safe or legal in any way. But we are doing it. All right, right through there. And I would say I'm between 70 and 80% positive that we can fit this thing down that small lane. Because it's not quite... Uh-oh. Sir. Yeah. Back it up, I said. Yeah, I know it. I don't think you'd be driving this thing on the road at all. You certainly wouldn't be driving it with the header on. Foldable headers? Yeah. I've got one for 19. I've got a couple for 19. But I don't have one for 17. Or do I? Now I've got a foldable corn header. But I don't think I have one for... cereal. All right. I mean, we're making it. We got this traffic circle. That's going to be exciting. Try not to hit any signs here. Still doing good. And right through here. Now, the worst possible thing that could happen... Whoa, so narrow. The worst thing that could happen is we get like half this field done and it starts raining. If we return this thing and we want to lease it again, it's going to cost us another $7,500. But if we don't return it and just let it sit, then it's going to bleed money every hour. goes too fast for it to be 14 miles per hour. I mean, the game's not entirely to scale. There's a little bit of you know what I'm saying? It's a little stylized. All right, pretend that didn't happen because we just essentially scraped the header all along the top of that guy's truck. Sorry, sir. All right, but we just about made it. And I'm going to go third person to make this turn. I think we're going to fit. I think. If we don't fit, I don't know. I mean, I guess we got to... I don't know. I don't know what we'll do. Send the Massey down to grab a header trailer, I guess. Hey, at least it's not a skid steer. Hauling one of those things from one side of the map to the other is... it'll make you crazy. A map like this, it just takes forever because those things go so slow. All right. Oh yeah, we got this. Try not to take out any bins here. Oh, got one. Sorry. And I think this field has two... Yeah, it's got this low entrance right here. Let's go ahead and just hop right in here instead of trying to drive up through the farmyard. Let's just start right here. All right, so, as promised, 2 hours later, unfold that, start that, here we go. And I'm going to slow this down a little bit. I think 5 miles per hour is... Yep. I think 5 miles per hour is a little bit more accurate. And I feel like soybean is one of the more dense of the crops as far as like mass. So it'll take quite a while to fill this thing. It's not fluffy like wheat is. Yeah. I wonder how often that happens in real life. Yeah, I knew we'd get there eventually, Alex. It's always something. It's always something in that farm life. All right, so right about there. I think this is going to be a lot easier and a lot more fun without more realistic. These hills, particularly with the low horsepower equipment, are just brutal. I sort of miss more realistic, but I do have to remind myself we're just playing games to have fun. It doesn't all need to be super realistic or I don't know, not difficult. You know what I mean. I think it's possible to make a game so immersive that it's not immersive anymore, because no game can be completely immersive. I mean, I'm not driving a combine harvester. I'm sitting in my office wearing a headset. So I think there's an appropriate level of immersion. There's balance, you know, when everything it feels realistic enough. You're having fun. Everything just works, but take it too far in either direction, it's not nearly as much fun. And we may, yeah, I think we'll get a full headland in one tank. Now, if we do, because the tank on this is... I want to say the tank on this is about 6,000. Yeah, I agree with you, Ernie. I think if it had continued to evolve, I think if 17 was the final iteration of Farm Simulator and we were all still working on FS17 mods and they were, you know, like some of the features that we have in seasons in 19 right now, they would have been added to 17. But because 17 is sort of abandonware, I feel like a lot of these mods are frozen in place and never really, I don't know, got done. They never really got to their full potential. So they're good, but I think they're not as good as they would have been had the devs and mod makers continued to work on them. But yeah, I think I love more realistic, but I do think it's a bit unbalanced. Yeah, we got a ways to go. I don't even think we're going to get one headland in one tank. I don't know, we will. I'm sorry, I was looking at the mini-map down there thinking we had over half the circumference of the field to go, but it's right down here. Don't own this field? I beg your pardon? That's something I've noticed about this map. I'm very reluctant to, like, I don't know, not complain about it, but, I mean, it's such a good map. I don't really want to, like, talk smack on any part of it because it's so good, but I've noticed that the field boundaries seem to be really not always in line with the hedges and fences. You get that warning a lot, even when you're clearly in your own field. And it can, we'll take a look on the next headland, but it can get a little weird, because next time we come around, if the harvest function is turned off for all those areas, in fact, we can go right here and take a look behind us. No, it got it all. But you know what I'm talking about. When you get that warning, what you'll see sometimes is that the implementer tool or whatever you're working with has stopped working. And so there's an area of the field that isn't done. And it just takes a minute to get everything sort of fixed and cleaned up and made right. All right, so we're not quite 60%. I'm just going to start another headland. When the tank is full, we'll go ahead and grab the Massey. And because we're onto our second headland now, there will definitely be enough room for the Massey to pull up alongside and fill up. And I guess at least our first couple trailers. Yeah, exactly. And the way that the game, like the way the mini tiles are laid out for the fields that you're working in, and the multi-terrain angles and everything else, depending on how those blocks sort of designate, they can be really kind of big and square. There's that immersion again. Yeah, I think these first couple trailers, inevitably we're going to sell them. I don't think there's any reason to bank them right now. I think the smart play is to sell them straight away. We may lose it a little bit as far as what we could get if we waited to sell them for a great demand. But in the meantime, we're going to be sparing ourselves a little bit of loan interest. So we may not sell them for as much as we could sell them for, but it's not completely upside down. I have never played FS18. That is the Android version. Is it not? Alright, we'll just keep making our way around here. I have not played it. I have never played a smartphone game. I've never had a game installed on any phone or tablet that I've owned. I don't know if that's good or bad. Oh, right on. So the even numbers are mobile. Yeah, I feel like I'm too much of a desk gamer now. It's been so long since I played a game just leaning back on a sofa. And I think, I don't know, the idea of controlling a smartphone app smartphone game with my finger, and not having a gamepad. I know you can. I think there's even a conversion kit for this Razer gamepad that I have where you can drop an Android on top of it. But I don't know. I think I'm just too used to playing games the way I've always played them, or more of that lean forward gaming versus lean back gaming. 550 meg for a mobile game. That's a lot of meg. But in fairness, my Galaxy is like 128 gig native, and it's got a slot for a 1 terabyte micro SD. So data storage has definitely exploded in the past few years. Not what I'm used to. All right, so let's we'll turn this off. Turn those off. Let's get the pipe out. And I'm going to leave this running because it's been working hard, and I'm sure it's very hot. But I think the distance that we have to go to grab the 5600, I think we're going to be outside this vehicle's trigger, and it's going to turn off. So it may not be running when we get back. All right, but all of this did... oh, it's absolutely insane. When I think about a terabyte on a micro SD, or they've got 4 gig M2 drives now, the stick of gum drive, 4 gig, really? It's amazing. I need to upgrade my SSD. I need to go from 2 gig to 4 gig because I'm running out of room again. These games now that are coming in at like 150 and 200 gig for a simulator with DLC. That's... I don't know, man. I'd never want to turn into a boomer. And as far as I know, boomer has more to do with how you feel about technology than how old you are. But I don't know, man. I'm worried. Someday I'm going to like cross over and be like, yeah, the phone that I have now that's fine. I don't need another phone. I'm still at that stage where I want to buy a new phone every year. 50 gig SD card? Yeah. And it's crazy that 50 gig is, I mean, it's big, but it's not as big as it used to be. Yeah, 4T external. I want to run dual internal 2s, and then my M2 drive that I use for my OS is 1 gig. So, I'm sorry, 1 terabyte. So the idea that 5 TB is what you need in 2021, that's next level. All right. Carefully. All right. We're out of there. Where did we stop in the field? We stopped up going across the top. So that means we can... Yeah, we can cut right up through here and go through the farm. Yeah, you got to clear that bloatware out. It really pisses me off that stuff is now... It's so intertwined, right? It's like, oh, what's the version of Siri that Microsoft has? Is it Cora? I can't remember. But their data scraping and data collection and harvesting app or whatever it is, I want to say it's called Cora. You can't disable it because if you do, you disable Windows Explorer. Cortana, that's it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Two gig of memory. Yeah, that's not even enough to run an OS these days. Yeah, that's crazy. I bumped up to 32 gig of 3200 RAM, and I feel like I'm sort of future-proof because when I run MSI Afterburner, I rarely fill it. But I feel like that's this year, you know, and a year or two from now, it's going to be 64 minimum. I mean, that's just progress. I'm not complaining about it or anything. It is just, it's amazing to see how fast it's happening, and obviously, it's expensive, and I don't like spending money. All right, so we've got Combine Assistant. So we're on manual, and we need to go left Alt End. So we'll unload this. This did turn off, not a big deal. And what's the price for soybeans right now? That trailer holds 20. And we can sell soybeans for, we can get 20 grand at Frontier. You know what? Let's see how this field treats us. Let's see what we get out of it. Maybe we sell 2 trailers. That's 40 grand, and we put the rest in storage up at Blockwell. Sell them when we get a great demand. We can always sell it anytime we want. In the meantime, if we need money, we can sell it because we've got the trailer now, so we don't need to lease a trailer or make a special trip. Bring a pipe in. Here we go. So yeah, let's do that. Let's sell a couple trailers. I hate to leave money on the table. And selling a crop for less than we could get for it, like in the dead of winter, that's just, I don't like it, man. I hate doing that. So let's sell 2. That'll be 40. And then we'll bank the rest. Okay. So that was 1.5 headlands to fill this thing. Let's go a few more. Try to at least get that trailer full, and then we'll take it down to Frontier, dump it, and we'll call it. All right, so we did make it to the harvest. I was concerned. I was also concerned we were going to lose this crop entirely after what happened to the canola that we put in. But I feel like using the hand of God to replant this field was, I don't know, maybe that was sort of the catalyst to turn off more realistic, even though they're not related. But, you know, let's just have fun playing a video game. I need to remind myself of that more and more often lately. I'm supposed to be having fun. And I saw that comment over and over yesterday when I was researching BatSim. You know, people saying, hey man, there's this crazy concept. It's called having a good time. Let's do this. Let's try to do this first person. About like so. Wait a minute. Did we not raise that? I thought we raised that. Okay. Well, we didn't. But here we go. I do think there's a cap to some of this stuff, but as far as memory and storage, I don't know if there's ever going to be one for that. I think it's just always going to continue expanding. I mean, for something like smartphones, the first real smartphone, the first, I don't know how you describe it, because I was into BlackBerry. Like, I was Gen 1 on BlackBerry. But I had an HTC Titan II, the Kaiser. And that phone was, it's got to be like 10 years ago. But that phone did just about everything a modern smartphone does. It didn't do it as well. Custom PC, I don't know, man. I got my specs already written down. I got some pretty radical expectations for my next PC. But the Kaiser was ahead of its time, and it had things that I've never seen in a smartphone since. You could open a terminal services client on it and run Linux. You could bash into Linux and run it via this phone. So it had a lot of features. And I felt like, you know, they're never going to be able to add anything to a phone that this phone has, that this phone doesn't have. Well, I know what I'm trying to say. That phone had everything that a phone could have or need. And that was like 10 years ago, and I feel like that's turned out to be just about accurate. I mean, there's not a lot more that a phone needs added to it. It's already got the phone, obviously. Text, email, pictures, video, right? GPS. And it's got a video player in it. Netflix, YouTube, whatever. I mean, I don't know. What else do you need to put in a phone that is not already in a phone? Hang on, I'm trying to make it a CPU monitor. In-phone screen recording. Yeah, I mean, are there not apps for that? You can do screen capture in a smartphone. I think I'm going to stick with RTX 2000 series. You need an app? Well, I mean, but that's still available, right? You can get it into the phone. It's just not native. But I hear you. Yeah, it's amazing. Technology is amazing. I love it. I mean, I love analog stuff. I'm really a fan of watches and fountain pens and compasses and sextants and really old school technology, slide rules. I love that stuff. But technology it's pretty sexy. Interesting. What kind of phone is that, Fred? Because if you say it's a Samsung Galaxy, I'm going to be really upset because I have one and I didn't know that was the thing. All right, how are we doing? 70% on this tank. And I think from here, let's go around the side here. I think if we go up to the next turn, the one by the top farm gate, I think that, what would you call that? It's not a face. Is it a face? I don't know, that side, that length. I think that's the longest run we can get. So we'll just start doing lengths from that farm gate up to the top of the field. We've got enough room to turn around. So we'll just do lengths till this thing is full, empty it out, keep working till the trailer's full, and then we'll call it. Honor 20? Not familiar with it. Who makes that? Or is that the manufacturer? That's so cool. I mean, I got the Google Nest. I talked to the Google Nest. Hallway? Right on. I talked to the Google Nest, and that works really, really well. But I do think that in 4 or 5 years, it is going to be more conversational. I feel like at the moment, it's still pretty limited in what it can do. It recognizes really well what you're saying, but it can't always do anything with the information that you give it. Look, I wrote some farmer's use. Oh, that's cool, Stingray. So you're saying that you can sort of sim farm like at the same time as farmers in your part of the world are doing what they really do? That's really cool. Yeah, I was talking a lot about VATSIM earlier, and that's that integration of, I guess, real world time with gaming. I think that adds a level of realism and immersion that's really, really compelling. Wow, that's really cool. That's a great idea. Because the thing about real world time when you bring it into a game is it brings with it both, sometimes time goes too fast and other times time goes too slow. When you let your in-game clock be the real world, I think you bring in that aspect of, sometimes things happen involving time and you have no control over it. You just need to figure it out. I'm going to empty now. We got a little bit of room left in the tank, but I don't think enough to do another length. All right, so how about here? Turn those off. Turn that out. Turn that off. There we go. Set the brake. I'm going to have some water. think if I turn this off, yeah, I need to adjust glance a little bit there. I thought there was a way that I could see how much was in the trailer. I know there is. There's a value I need to edit in the XML. All right, so let's try this. Let's try phase 2. Yeah, that's I finally sorted out the compression on my audio. That was the problem all along. I finally sorted out the compression, and unfortunately, what it's done is it's capped the loud volume. So I can get as loud as I want now. It never distorts, it never cracks. I can yell, I can scream, and it caps it all. But in doing that, what I've done is I've brought up the very soft volume. So essentially, whether I'm whispering or yelling, it all sounds the same to you. But the problem is that when I'm doing things that are very quiet, like drinking water, it sounds as loud as when I'm regularly speaking. But it's got to be that way. YouTube does not like dynamic audio. So let us go here now, I think. Yeah, we can put the alternative helper on. We want the active side to be the left side. We want lengths on. Oh, I hope this works. It never does, but I hope this works. Connect the field only, yes. Turn that on. I do want to start with the trace. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to hop on the other side, flip it over. Yep, need to flip it. Hang on. Flip it. So we put that on the right. All right. Everything else stays the same. And so what this means, I think, I hope, is that we can now hop in the Massey and take it. Take it. We can hop in the Massey now and service this combine harvester. Beautiful. So we'll do this till we're full. Head down and sell, and we'll call it. I saw when I fired up the sim today, I've got 30 hours on this save game already. Time flies. All right. So right in there. Right in there. And we're about 50% full. So if we empty the tank 2 more times, and we won't let it get 100% full, we'll be emptying it when it gets to about 80%. What? How are we 1,600 in debt? Oh, game. Bruh. Go here. Borrow another $5,000. Oh, 280,000. All right.
Bruh.
And I think we've got, yeah, when we're on smart AI, it'll just contour to that side of the field, even if it has a little curve to it. So let's see how it does. Seems to be doing okay. Now, in real life, you would go up and down, right? As long as your combine harvester had enough horsepower and torque to climb the hill, you would go up and down. Because if you go side hill, you're always sliding down and your lengths aren't straight. Is that correct? I think I read that somewhere, possibly in a book. Let's just hang on. All right. So even with... Did it stop? No, it's still sliding. Even with more realistic turned off, this thing is still sliding down the hill. All right. What can you do? All right, so now both of them are on. Yeah, I thought you wanted to be sort of facing the fall line. You never wanted to be perpendicular to the fall line. So as often as possible, I do try to do that. Now, I can tell you that Bullet Bill, something that I think is unique to his maps, is that the way he contours his terrain, it's like he wraps his fields around hills on two different, like in two different directions. So what's straight up and down the fall line in one part of a bullet bill field, by the time you get to the other part of it, you're at side hill. He's devious. He's cunning, the man is. Oh man. And the thing is, like, the way that you know that is you nearly tipped over, or you did tip over. Farming, man, it's a crazy way to make a living. It really is. So it looks like we're getting about 12% per length. So 25 per pair. So that's 36 right there. The end of this next row will be 48. And then we'll get them when they're between 87 and 100. We'll get them emptied out. I think I'll just go down and empty there because we're a little over 2 hours. But it's probably going to take another, I'd say, probably 45 minutes to finish this field. So rather than waiting till our trailer is all the way full, we'll just get it up to 75% and we'll call it. But I love Glance for this. When you get busy and you've got a lot of different vehicles, whether they're on course play or smart AI or dumb AI, that you can sort of monitor what everybody's doing and know where you need to teleport. And somehow he found a way, Bullet Bill found a way to make the haze work. As I know, I guess because the rendering engine for this game is kind of old, sometimes the fog just makes the trees look gray. You know, it doesn't really look like fog. It just looks like a gray filter over the trees. I think he's got that sorted in a way that they still look like trees. All right, so there's 50%. Beautiful. Sir. And I know we talk a lot of smack on video games, but there are times when I'm amazed that they even run at all. Ernie, you can just grab me in the Farm Sim channel. I've already got a voice channel set up. What I'll do is I'll give you all permissions. I've got a separate permission and designation for Farm Sim. I'll just give you all of that. That will give you access to the private Farm Sim chat and also the private Farm Sim channel. It's not private, like, it's not a big deal. It's just, I don't know, separated. In the voice channel, you know, the only people that will ever be in the voice channel are other people that you're in MP with. So yeah, just in fact, I can do that. You don't even need to grab me. I can just, because I've got both of you on Discord, so I can just add that designation to both of you. And if anybody else is interested, hop on Discord and let me know. We've got so Ernie, Fried, me, that's 3. Owen and Freddie will probably want to hop in, so that's 4 and 5. So if we get 3 more, that's 8. And I think, I mean, I don't know how everybody's schedule is going to coordinate, how often we can get on there at the same time. But I would say if we had 4 or 5 different farms and each of us sort of owned one, everybody can be doing their own thing. Just be mindful of, like when Owen and Freddie and I had an MP server with seasons, the only thing you need to be mindful of is people's animals. That if you're doing something, or if somebody's away for a couple days but you're on the map and time is moving forward, the next time they come in, their animals are starving because time has progressed. So just be mindful of people's animals, or try to coordinate and drop them a note in Discord like, hey, I'm going to be on. Is anything time sensitive in your save game? But other than that, yeah, I think it works really, really well with 4 or 5 people. All right, so that was 73. End of this next length, I'll hop in the Massey, we'll empty and head down. And Frontier is where? Frontier is... Oh, that's cool. It's at the top northwest corner of the map, so we'll have to drive all the way across the map to get there. Fantastic. It's a fun driving map. And I'm going to turn grass off too. I always forget to do this, but it is not easy on the eyes when you leave that turned on. Right on. Probably a little bit less than 45 minutes to get this field done. I'd say we're about, probably a third done already. All right. Right here. And, oh, you know what? There's one more thing I need to check in. Right in the face. Come here. All right. So if we go here, we want wait during unload off. There we go. All right. Sir? What's that all about? I mean, sometimes your worker just starts cutting donuts. What can you do? Oh, frame rate is tanking. It's trying to figure something out. It's trying to figure something out. Yeah, he just gave up. Okay. No worries. No, I don't think so, Fried. There is there's a text window, is there not? I don't remember off the top of my head. You know what? This thing is already... It's just about full. We'll go ahead and empty it manually, and then we'll turn it off, and I'll head up to Frontier. Yeah, I want to say there's a pop-up window for chat when you're in MP. Alright, so there's that. What? Oh, that's our rental. We just borrowed $5,000 15 minutes ago, and the lease already ate it up. God, I don't know how much money we're going to spend to, because we paid $7,000 initially to lease this thing. We paid another $5,000 in leasing fees for it, so that's $12,000. Now it's only when it's running, right? I don't think the clock is racking up money if you got it turned off. God. All right. This is the life of a fake farber. Here we go. There is a text window. Yeah, I thought there was. That seemed to be a thing that would make sense. So we got you covered, Fried. And I think the Horse DLC and the Coon DLC both work. I don't think Ropa is necessary. I don't think it's really appropriate for this map unless you're into like massive amounts of potatoes. And then Modern Classics is a nice one for this map, but I don't think we'll need all the DLC. Maybe half of them. So if there's any DLC you don't have, just let me know and we can skip those or something. Don't feel like you have to get DLC. I mean, if you want to, help yourself, but don't feel like you have to get DLC just for the save game. And what else? Carefully, easy. And then I think it's just Simply Safe and the mod hub. I can't think of anything that we would be using that's only on GitHub. Because like drive control and what's the other one? The terrain control mods, those are all on the mod hub. course play. Follow me. Yeah, I think almost everything's on course play, on the mod hub. All right, right through there. It's already noon. This field will be done today, but I'm liking the 5x time. I don't, or in the past, I haven't normally done that. I've stayed on 1x time and then accelerated time off camera. But I'm enjoying seeing the day sort of progress while we're in the stream. That's fun. All right, right around there. Yeah, they're pretty affordable now. And if not, like I said, we can skip it and add it when it's on sale. But don't feel any pressure, you know. We're all on a budget. Don't feel any pressure to get anything that you don't have just for the MP. Just let me know. We can hold off on that. Okay, cool. And I think I'm driving this map like I remember it. I sort of remember it. Yeah, we go under the yeah, there's the railroad tracks. We go under these. But I don't remember where Frontier is exactly. Or is that the one that's all the way up, like right on the very edge of the map? We'll find out in a minute. So I think this first trailer, if we get 15 grand for this first trailer, I think that will just about cover the rental for the combine harvester so far. And then what we get from the rest of the field will be profit, unless they ding us for another 5 grand. Oh, game. Killing me. That's crazy though, because depending on how the fee is applied for the combine harvester, if it continues to rack up, like as we keep working, it might cost us another, I don't know, like 10 or 15 grand before we're done. And there's not that much left to bring in. So if we get another whole trailer and we sell it for 20 grand, but we spend another 10 grand on the lease. So we sold one for 15 and broke even. We sold another for 20 and made 5 grand. That's all that work for that field. We make a total of 5,000 pounds. Oh, that's rough. That's no way to get ahead in this life, kid. So at that point, I really am tempted to plant that field with grass, because we got 3 cuts from field 9.5. We could have had 4, but I thought the grass would stay till winter, and it went away in the autumn. But yeah, if we plant field 100, I mean, we'd be grass farmers, but we'd be making money. Frontier, yep. It's not, yeah, we go past here. All right, go past there, and then it's right here. Right here, right here, right here. It's somewhere. There it is. There we go. All right. Let's pull in and get weighed here. Like so. All right. Yeah, it really does. One of my least favorite expressions is don't throw money at the problem. That's literally what money is for. You throw it at problems and it makes them go away. All right, well, we're out of debt. We made up that negative 600 and we got 16.9. Okay, I was putting us on about 15. We're a little bit over that, so I'll take it. Very carefully pull through here so we don't break anything. Okay, turn around so we're facing the sun. Beautiful. Right about like so. Set the brake. That off. Turn that off. There you go. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for stopping back to check out the stream. I think... Wait a minute. Oh, right, because we had the straw harvest pellet building right here. Nothing to see here, folks. Everything is fine. Let's just look over here. Better. So we'll do, I don't know, what do you want to do tomorrow? You want to do Hunter Call of the Wild? Do you want to do Truck Sim? I wouldn't mind doing some X-Plane, but I know, I mean, I feel like we need to sort of slot that in now and then. We don't need to try to make X-Plane a big part of the channel anytime soon. So we can do X-Plane, we can do Hunter Call of the Wild, we can do American Truck Sim, we can do Train Sim. I'm open for anything. Truck Sim? Right on. We'll do American Truck Sim because we just did ETS the other day. So we'll do ATS and keep making our way toward Wyoming. I don't know when that's going to drop. Hunter? ATS? All right. 2-1 at the moment, Ernie. I'll monitor Discord. But we'll do Hunter. What would it be? So today is Monday. So tomorrow's ATS. Tuesday would be ATS. Wednesday is Farm Sim again, and then Thursday would be Hunter Call of the Wild. Okay, that sounds good. And then Friday, maybe we'll do some Flight Sim. Truck Sim wins. There you go. Democracy Manifest. Right on. Thanks, everybody. You're awesome. Thanks for stopping by. See you tomorrow.